morning, YouTube universe, Coffmanites. How we doing today? So I got up today and I was planning my day. I was planning the content I wanted to create for today because I've got a list of things I wanted to get done today, and I've got some things I'm editing from yesterday that are coming up today. It's going to be a busy week here on the channel, and most weeks to come are going to be busy. But I was in the gym this morning. I was working out, getting those reps in, and my brain juices started flowing. And I was on X, and I was reading some comments on X and some things that people had left me in DMs, and I was thinking, you know what? We're going to tackle this today. We're going to get into this today and my real thoughts on this. Is it a remake? Or is it a sequel? Or as some creative people on X like to say, a requel? Which that's not a real thing. Don't let people lie to you. That's not a real thing. We're going to get into that today, but before we get into that, please subscribe to the channel, throw a like on the video, share it around, tell your friends, tell your folks, tell anybody who's into this kind of thing. We are on the hype train. It is pulled out of the station. It is barreling down the tracks. And we are on our way to Rebirth. We are on our way to a demo. Could be any time. Could be any time on this demo that we're looking at. But before we get into all that, the Kickstarter for Aurora Volume 3, my fantasy adventure graphic novel, is live. If you would like to support the project and get some perks and some extra benefits only available through Kickstarter, books signed by me, extra swag, things like that, please consider supporting the project. Links are in the description. Alright, so first and foremost, this is not a spoilery kind of theory video. So if you're trying to stay away from like Rebirth spoilers and all that, I am not going to be diving into that stuff anymore until we get to Rebirth, because I don't want to spoil your experience. I want you to be able to come to this channel and know that you're not going to get spoiled anything. And if there is anything spoilery for Rebirth I'm going to talk about, such as a new trailer dropping, where I will drop that at the top of the video. It's like, hey, look, there's possible spoilers for Rebirth in this, so take heed. None of that in this video. So everybody wants to talk about, is this a remake? Is this a sequel? Is this something in between or whatever? I think you have to look at the whole body of work so far with what they've done. The way they've released information, the way they've talked about things, especially the way Hamaguchi's been talking about things. You've got guys who toe the company line like Katase, who answer a lot of questions with more open-ended questions or open-ended answers. And you've got a lot of people who aren't giving straight answers. I feel like lately Hamaguchi's been pretty straightforward with the way he's answering. He's answering in a mysterious kind of way, but he's still giving us lots of prime cut information. If you look at what they did in Final Fantasy VII Remake, they stayed true to the whole story up until the plot twist at the end of that being with Sephiroth and everything, and some things leading up to it there at the end as well. The whispers were prevalent through the whole game, from chapter 2 on. We got the whispers, and they were, holding things in place and trying to keep things on a certain course. Now, that's where it gets a little into the head of, did you play the original? Do you understand the original? Now you're playing this new thing. The whispers did kind of represent that, but a lot of people had this real nihilistic version or vision of that in their head, say, oh, this is just the devs saying, the whispers are fans wanting to... No, that is not what it was. The whispers were there for fans of the original, but not in a negative way. They were there, like, if you had knowledge of the original game, you could perceive that they were trying to keep things streamlined. They were trying to keep things the way the original game went. But the concept of the original game or an original timeline and all this other kind of stuff does not exist within the confines of what they're doing in the remake saga. That doesn't exist. It exists to us, the real world players, but it does not exist in the game, if you follow me. So as you go along, like, we are the planet, like, right, our interpretation, our vision, our knowledge of the original game, that is the knowledge of the planet. That's the way the planet wants things to go and to stay on track, and Sephiroth's going to mix that up. So as it gets along in to remake, and you're starting to see things change. You're getting characters you didn't get before. So this is what leads me to my conclusion, and we're gonna get there. So hang with me. You get new characters, you get new little storylines. Especially Wall Market is a character dump. Like, that is a place where you get a lot more like future side quest material for the games. We've already kind of seen evidence of that in the trailers for Rebirth. Again, I'm not getting into all that. That's not what this is about. I'm not spoiling anything for you. But when you get into those other concepts of the characters that are being introduced, future side storylines that are being introduced, what this comes down to is the Whispers represent our knowledge of the original game. It's a very wild way to remake the story with the concept and paying homage or honoring the people who love the original game, but the devs redoing it, basically. So I am of a mind that this is a complete reimagining of Final Fantasy VII. This is not a sequel. It is a true reimagining, a remake, not a one-for-one remake, but it is a reimagining of the Final Fantasy VII story. It's not a sequel. I don't think there's the Ore Sephiroth and the future, the Advent Children Sephiroth, and there may be concepts of that, right? But it's not like a time travel. This is one condensed story based on, and I've said this before, based on all the notes that they've written and ideas they had after they made 7, and even ideas they couldn't put into the original game because of time and budget constraints and stuff, and the technology just not being what they wanted it to be to pull it off. Now, all these years later, 25 years later, they've got all this at their disposal. They've got years and years of notes. They've got the compilation of Final Fantasy VII they did. And again, this is not, I don't think, and I might wind up being wrong about this. I know you all will flame me in the comments if I am. I'm ready for it. My skin is thick, baby. My skin is thick. You can bring it. That's okay, because I'll give it back. I don't think this is a part of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. I don't. I think this is them taking the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, all the notes, everything else, and putting it in a blender and just putting it out there for us. I honestly believe that's what it is. I don't really believe they are necessarily saying this is a sequel. This is Sephiroth, you know, with his knowledge of the live stream and a new time loop and everything, you know, which was my original theory, right? My original theory was it's a new time loop, and I was lost in it. All of us were lost in it. All of us were like, we couldn't see the forest for the trees. I think it was very much a situation, a scenario like that. We could not see the forest for the trees, and that is what was going on. Like, we all got lost chasing theories and chasing this and that. The people that were mad that they were doing this new direction didn't come on with any of that. The rest of us who were like enticed by the new direction, we started like finding little things that spoke to us and running with those things. Throw all that off the table. Zach's not dead. Zach isn't dead. He's not journeying through the live stream. It's not Ghost. It's not Patrick Swayze. It's not Patrick Swayze as Zach and Aerith as his girlfriend. It's not Ghost. It's not time travel. I don't think it's even time loops anymore. I think it is just a straight up reimagining of Final Fantasy VII with all of the notes in place. And it's there. It's all there. If you go back, and I'm not going to cite specific interviews, you know, I'm not going to do that. It's out there. You all can go research it if you want to. You can go back and watch and read all the interviews and stuff. The way they're answering these questions speaks to me and tells me that, you know, they keep saying all the main moments of Final Fantasy VII are going to be there. All the things that make it special are going to be there. They cannot come out and tell you hey, this is just a reimagining, we're just doing this and that. No, Square Enix isn't going to do that. The creator's on board for this. Tetsuya Nomura, Kitase Hamaguchi, the more we learn about him, it's not his style either to give away their surprises. They're not going to give that away. They're just not. You know, why don't they just come out and tell us? Because they're just not going to, you know. That's why they rely on content creators. If you don't think they rely on content creators, just look at the people they invite to these press junkets and stuff they do. They invite content creators. It's free advertising, it's free marketing, and they also understand that we are plugged into you. We are fans, so we are plugged into you, and we are going to be bringing you all this information. That's why it works that way. And in the latest thing that came out, that interview with Hamaguchi, you know, he said there were ideas on the table that deviated too far from what Final Fantasy VII was, those moments and stuff like that, that were just kind of said no. They said no to those. They've introduced these elements from the compilation, from notes that we don't even know about. Like these characters like Leslie, and that's something else about Rebirth, is like we don't know half of what's going to be in Rebirth. I don't think we know a quarter of what's going to be in Rebirth. They haven't even shown Leslie. They haven't shown any of that kind of thing. I mean, not that I care about Leslie, because I don't. I just don't care about that storyline. But just for example, that's something that was not shown. They're not giving everything away. Madam M, all these crazy characters they introduced, I'm sure those were notes in someone's pad or on someone's device. They were like, hey, it'd be cool if we could have incorporated this into Final Fantasy VII. Or maybe these are characters and concepts that were going to go into other Final Fantasy games, you know, 10 through 15, that just didn't make it in, you know, and they just made everything fit into Final Fantasy VII. We don't know, but what I do know, 99.9% sure, that this is a true reimagining. It is a true remake of the original Final Fantasy VII. That's exactly what they're doing. That's what this is. They made some creative decisions and choices a lot of people didn't like. I'm on board for it. I'm even more on board for it now, because I don't think there's any like ethereal guessing going on. You know, there's no, you know, I gotta pull this out of the ether and I gotta think about this and I gotta brainstorm on this. And, you know, you got the conspiracy theory board behind you, which all of us content creators did it. We all fell for it. We all fell for it. I fell for it. Everyone fell for it. Everyone did. And I am just of a mind now that throw all that stuff out the window. This is a reimagining, which makes me even more excited. Because there's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to figure out. I mean, there will be mysteries to figure out. But as far as like theory, speculation, you know, future Sephiroth, Ore Sephiroth, and all this nonsense that's out there, you know what I mean? It's like, no, we can just sit back and we can enjoy the story. It's just a reimagining. That's my take on it. Anyway, the hype train is barreling down the tracks, and I'm really excited. We could be getting that. We could be getting that demo anytime now. I'm super stoked for that. We have just entered the 2-week window, I think, or maybe it's Monday. We entered the 2-week window for my guess for the demo. I'll be happy to be wrong about that, and we get it like in the next couple of days. I'll be happy to be wrong about that. So anyway, post your comments below. Let me know what you all think about that. More stuff coming all the time. I got another piece coming today. And comment, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. I appreciate you all. Let's grow this thing. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. I'm ready. So anyway, appreciate you all. Appreciate the hell out of all of you all, Coffmanites. Take care. Be safe. Be good to each other. And until next time, I will see you all in the next one. Keep rocking. Have a good day.